Zhao nodded. I know that, so we should be careful. Although Laura could help us develop the Buda clan, do not forget that she is a businessman. The length of time we know her is too short. One wrong step and we'll be in danger. Then we'll wait until we can get a better look at Laura to make sure that she's credible, Green said. After breakfast, everyone came out of the villa. At this time, Zhao harvested some radishes, then planted a new batch. Once he was done with that, he took out the advanced warrior's body. As for the body of Garan, he had already searched it and found a crystal card that contained 1,200 gold coins. This was an unexpected gift. In fact, when it comes to money or land, Garen's clan was very rich. It wouldn't be strange for him to carry a few crystal cards. These cards use the blood identification method. Once you receive a card, a drop of your blood would become like a password that identifies you as the owner. Only you would be able to take money out of the card. It would be unacceptable for someone else to hold the card. Although Garen ended up at his undead, Zhao was unable to take the money out of the card. Even so, he was unwilling to throw the card away, so the crystal card was stored in the spatial barn. Now it was time to get down to business. Zhao began waving the ghost staff around the advanced warrior's body until a cloud of black gas wrapped around the corpse. This wasn't the same black gas as when Drunk turned that assassin into a low-level undead. This black gas had faint electric blinking lights. One of the benefits of using the ghost staff was that there was no need for incantations. For Zhao, simply choosing what spell to cast was enough. A moment later, the black gas diffused, then the voice came and said transformation into a high-class robotic object successful. Strengthening with toxins. Strengthening with long-range attack capabilities. After what the voice said, the skeleton on the ground looked no different than the other undead in the space. Looking at it carefully, Zhao said, "Get up. What is your name?" The undead got up and saluted. "Master, my name is Shadowless Knight." "What organization do you belong to?" "Who is your leader?" Zhao asked. "Master, I belong to the House of Night Assassins, headed by the leader known as Kill Shadow. But the organization has another identity in the Ark continent. It is also known as the Night Shadow Mercenary Group." Zhao nodded, then at once he asked, "Where is the headquarters of this organization you belong to?" Shadowless Knight shook his head. "Master, I do not know. The members of the group are brought up from adoption and then given training. We just listen to what the leader tells us to do. In the end, I don't know where the headquarters is." Zhao couldn't help but feel disappointed. If you don't know where your headquarters is, then how do you pick out a task to complete? The heads of the organization just tells us. We dare not disobey or ask questions, otherwise we would be sentenced to death with no chance to escape. Zhao couldn't help but suck in a breath. Shadowless Knight was someone who went through endless blood and death, reaching a strength comparable to a 7th-level warrior. Yet this organization would easily be able to kill him if they wanted to. How powerful was this organization? How many people total are in this organization? And how strong are they? Zhao quickly asked. In the organization, I am what's known as a gold-level assassin. There are 50 people like me in the organization. Those at a higher level are known as crystal-level assassins, which totals about 5. The rest at the lower level are silver-level assassins, and their numbers are many, around 600. In the end, I don't actually know how many people are in the organization. At the lowest level are bronze-level assassins, but they are among the most common assassins, even weaker than 5th-level warriors. Green and Zhao's faces changed. They didn't expect that the organization they were facing was so powerful. They had 50 people that was as strong as Shadowless Knight, and there were even more powerful experts than him. Their enemy really was a monster. In this battle, Zhao and everyone else only managed to cope against such strength because their enemy only sent 3 members, along with some hired help, against them. What would happen if they dispatched their entire force? Would the Buda clan be able to contend against such a huge group of assassins? Zhao decided to worry about it later, and then asked, "What about Garan? What is his relationship with the Purcell clan?" Shadowless Knight shook his head. "There is no relationship. When we received this task from the leader, we recruited Garan to deal with you, Master." Zhao couldn't help but sigh in disappointment. From Shadowless Knight's words, it seems like Garan was just a pawn who pretended to have a connection to the Purcell clan. Unfortunately, he was the right choice to recruit for this battle because light magic would be useful for clashing against a black mage. If it weren't for the space making the undead immune to his light spells, they probably wouldn't have won. With this thought here, Zhao waved his hand and brought out the skeletons of the 3 midges. When Garen's and the Jishiling twins appeared, Zhao and Green couldn't help but feel surprised for a moment. These 3 undead midges were different compared to what they were expecting. The undead Garen wasn't the same as the other undead in the space. His skeleton was nearly transparent white in color, almost like he was carved out of pure diamond. It gave off a holy feeling. How could a skeleton make people feel that it was holy? This was too weird, right? This was what Zhao and Green was thinking in their hearts. They then looked at the undead Jishiling twins. These 2 brothers also weren't the same as the other undead in the space. Their skeletons had a yellow shade to them, almost like they were made of some kind of crystal clear yellow emerald. It was very beautiful, yet also gave the feeling of being as calm as a mountain. Now that Zhao thought about it, the undead Shadowless Knight also gave a feeling that was different from the other undead in the space. Even though his skeleton looked the same, it gave off a feeling of cold and extreme danger, like a snake lurking in the darkness. This feeling wasn't so obvious, and in this continent, only the strong would be able to hide their auras. This was enough to prove how strong Shadowless Knight was, even though he was now just an undead skeleton. In fact, when someone is turned into an undead, their strength would inevitably weaken. Like Garen, who was originally at the 8th level, but became an undead at the 6th level. Although, since he was strengthened by the space, it could be said that he could fight shoulder to shoulder against someone at the 7th level. Zhao asked Garen a few more questions, but the result was the same as when Zhao questioned Shift. Garen still had his abilities, but he lost all of his memories of the time when he was alive. Disappointed, Zhao sighed, then put Garen inside the spatial barn. Not only that, he changed Garen's name to Gamma, and also renamed the Jishiling twins as Jianxi. As for the warrior who was the leader of that mercenary army, Zhao allowed him to continue commanding that army, which was now undead, as well as the undead army from the Carrion Swamp. The only ones he wouldn't command was Zhao's undead, Drunk and the Black Midges, Gamma, Xianji, as well as Shadowless Knight and the undead assassins. Zhao knew that Drunk was not really a commander. His only experience was as a black mage working in a small group. But that warrior wasn't the same. He had spent his life researching the matters of war, so Zhao let him command his army of undead, freeing Drunk from the job. As for Shadowless Knight, since he was proficient in assassination, he would control all the undead assassins. This plays into their greatest strengths.